in a situation where they now cannot afford things they once could afford. So you got to go out there and help these people. Okay. You can't go hurting them. You got to go help them. Get into training mode right now. So how much do you want to put into it? If you can put 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, do that. If you can put 1 hour a day, do that. All right. Let's see here. As a licensed agent, can I do a wholesale flips without having to write up the offers? And look, I'm a licensed broker, guys. So as a licensed agent, you can wholesale, okay? And there's many ways to do it. But as a licensed agent, what I do is I disclose everything. And you can write these disclosures down. Some of the things I say, as ridiculous as they are, you know how disclosures are. I've said several of them on this class. You know, I am a licensed real estate broker in the state of Massachusetts, and I intend to make a profit from this transaction. Well, yeah, no, I know, right? But you got to disclose everything, okay? Got to disclose everything. What if you don't find a buyer, you're stuck with mortgage payments? No, Mike. Mike, absolutely not. You must have jumped in late, okay? First of all, we always find buyers. I can show you in 60 seconds how to build a buyer's list. And I'm not kidding. And if you're on the live Q&A this week, I'll do that first for you, okay? And by the way, it's in the modules. It's in autopilot, but I'll do that live. Are you stuck with mortgage payments? Mike, we're never stuck with any mortgage payments. We're never actually buying anything. Remember Chuck Woolery? Okay? We're the dating game. We find the buyers, we find the sellers, we put the contracts together, and we get paid with never being at risk. I'm confused with your comment about not losing money. This is from Gina. Gina says, I'm confused with not losing money. If the buyer pulls out of the wholesale deal, could you go over that again, please? Okay, so the question here is, all right, I can see the confusion, but here's what happens. I find the seller. I have my buyers. I put it under contract with my seller, the motivated seller, right? Then I go to my cash buyers and I say, do you want this deal? I sign a different contract with them. That contract puts me in a position where the buyer puts down the deposit for the deal. The buyer puts up all the money, and the buyer puts down what I decide in an escrow account for my fee, knowing that if they don't close on the deal, guess what? The motivated seller, I protect the motivated seller as well. The motivated seller keeps that deposit from my cash buyer. I keep the deposit that I was getting from my cash buyer. I had one of my guys, Billy, on last week. He said to me, hey, Pete, the deal just blew up. I made $4,000 because of what you taught me. You know, he was a nice guy. He actually gave some of the money back to his buyer because he does a lot of business with him. But nobody's doing this. Wait till you see when you get into the autopilot, to the modules, how we're doing this. So you're never at risk. By the way, just let me just say this real quick. You are never at risk because the contract you signed, right, has an out. You have an out clause, an exit clause. And again, I'll get into that, right? All right, do we need, do we do this as individuals, or do we need to establish a business entity or an LLC? I do everything in an LLC, okay? LLCs are very cheap to do. I show you how to do this online. Very simple to do. You can do it as an individual. I prefer to do it as an LLC. It gives you certain protections. However, okay, when you're quick flipping, you're not really exposed to much liability because you never really own the property. Think about that. All right. It's interesting. All right. How does equity in a house go into the equation when wholesaling? So listen, guys, this is an interesting question. Basically, what I'm looking for is what they want, what the motivated seller wants to sell the house for, right? Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but if they owe $200,000 on their mortgage and it's worth $500,000, who says it's worth $500,000, especially in this environment? So any investor right now doing a deal, they're going to discount that drastically. That discount, that's open up for grabs right now. That's what we're all figuring out as we go through this thing together. So if it was worth $500,000, the ARV, and someone else asked the question, if it was worth $500,000 2 months ago, what's it worth now? It's whatever someone's comfort zone is. You get it? Now, it's interesting because let's look at the stock market. When a stock is crashing and people are like, sell, sell. I remember dabbling in stocks, which I hate stocks, but that's me, right? because that thing could just shut off on you in a minute. Real estate doesn't work that way. But when the stocks are selling and it's crashing, there's always a buyer on the other end. There's always someone that disagrees with you. Well, guess what? That's what's happening now with the buyers. However, we're very savvy, guys. Buyers are very savvy. So right now, if a deal was trading at $500,000 and they owe $200,000 and there was $300 in equity, we might say, guess what? I'll give you $400. Because I am saying go out there, do good things, help people, right? So they don't get hurt. But I'm not saying go do this at the risk of you or your buyers to get hurt. A win-win means you both got to do good here. You'll find that line. And the more you're out there and talking to people, you'll get it. But equity does play a little role in this, because it's nice to know they owe 200, they won 5, they're going to settle for 4, they're still going to make 200 and walk away. But do you remember these words? Short sale. If everyone remembers short sale, that's going to come back. So equity doesn't mean anything to me if I know how to also short sale. We're going to get into that, guys. All right, that's it. I've said enough. I haven't shut up for over, how long is this? 2 hours. I hope you guys love this. I hope everyone liked it. I hope it was helpful.